Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to paint this cute little ostrich rock, so grab your paints and let's paint some rocks. So I did draw my design out in pencil just so I could kind of flesh out the idea, but I'm going over it in charcoal pencil so you can see how to draw it. Now, to start with, I would do a circle where you want the head to be placed on your rock, and then I would start drawing out the mouth like I am here. And now we're going to draw in his eyes. So his eyes are just big ovals, and then we're going to uh, take in the outer third portion, draw a crescent moon, and that's going to be the iris, the colored part of the eye. Then I'm just going to sketch in some hairs. This just kind of gives me an idea of where I want the hairs to go. Some I want to flop over like a mop all the way over to the sides. Then we're going to do some around his cheeks that go down and up. And then we want some feathering around his neck. So now that that's done, I'm going to put the indicator where the eye shine is going to go. And then I'm going to outline the whole design using Liquitex black airbrush paint. I like to use this as my outlining for all my outlining on my rocks because it's a very liquid thinned paint, but it's also very dark black. It's a true black. So it shows up against my black background, which is the black by Apple Barrel. So it's a flat black. So it's almost like a very dark charcoal gray. And then this Liquitex black paint shows up against it. And I originally, when I forgot to paint in the tongue, or draw in the tongue, I did that later. But you can see how the tongue is shaped. So don't forget to add that. And I am going to go in and paint in the feathers with the black and the inside of the mouth. And I'm going to paint in the feathers black because, and then go over it with colored paint. But by painting in it in the black first, it's going to add another layer of depth to your painting, because you're going to be able to see that between some of the feathers. Now I'm using Liquitex Basics paint, which is a lot of their colors are very translucent, and so you're going to see some of this black come through, and it just adds a layer for the light to reflect through or refract through the layers of paint, and that's what helps create depth in your painting. So here now you can see what the end results are of the rock, what we're going for. And I'm painting this red is, I believe it is the red medium hue. Oh, sorry, it's cadmium red deep hue is this color. All of my paints are linked below in the description. They are affiliate links to Amazon. So if you use my links, I do get a very small commission, which just helps fund these videos. But this cadmium red deep hue is a cold red, so it's got a blue tint to it. Then we're going to go on top of that with a warmer red, which is going to be the cadmium red medium hue. And so that red has a more of an orange tint to it. So now we're going to paint in, while the feathers are drying, we're going to paint in the beak. And I'm using yellow oxide. If you're painting in a Liquitex, they call it yellow oxide. Some other brands will call it yellow ochre. You could do orange. That would have been really cute. Like a bright orange beak. Now, if you're one of my Patreon subscribers, you will get a tutorial for a different ostrich to paint, and I'll show you what that's going to look like. I'll pop a picture up here in the left-hand corner. There you go. That's going to be the Patreon exclusive video for this week, or one of the two that you'll get this week. If you'd like to become a Patreon subscriber, the link is listed below. It's only $4 a month, and you'll have access to all of my Patreon exclusive videos. So now we're painting in the eye, the iris part. This is burnt sienna. And I'm just cleaning up my line. I'm not sure why I decided to do that at this point. Normally that's something I do at the end of the rock and will do again at the end of the rock. So I guess something was bothering me about that. Now I'm painting in the tongue. You could do this the same color red as your base red, that, what was it, cadmium red dark hue. I think for mine I did add a little bit of white, titanium white to it, just to lighten it up a little bit, so that it wasn't exactly the same color as the feathering. Now I'm just adding a second layer to the beak, second layer of paint. I'm just filling in the face. And I believe this is with I think this was the cadmium dark hue. But you could use the medium hue as well. It doesn't really matter. I'm pretty sure I used the dark hue though. It takes, because this paint is so translucent, it takes a couple of layers to kind of cover up the background. So now I'm going over it. This is the medium hue. So you can see how it's got kind of an oranger tone to it. And it just really kind of makes the paint kind of glow. When you go with a cold and then a warm color against each other. It kind of makes it really kind of glow or shine. And I'll have to do a couple of layers of this as well. Because once it starts to dry, it darkens up a little bit. So you have to keep adding layers to get the kind of the true color when it's against that black background. So now I'm just going in and cleaning up my lines. I'm adding some lines down here underneath the chin. That's just going to be the shadowing under the chin. I will go over that with a layer of paint, and since it's translucent, you'll be able to see through that. Now I'm adding the eye shine, which is just a dash and a dot. Now highlighting the tongue. So I just added a little bit of white to some red and just made some pink. Now I'm going over just the parts of the feathers where they connect to the head. I'm going over with some magenta. And see, I'm going to cover up some of that paint. That's just going to lighten it up a little bit. Some of that black paint is going to lighten that up a little bit and kind of push it back. Now adding in the nostrils. I did almost forget to do that. He's got to have nostrils. You can also add eyelashes to your little ostrich. I didn't, just because of the black background. Now I'm going and I'm taking some of that beak color, which is the yellow ochre or yellow oxide, and I am just painting in the center of the iris part. And that's just going to add a little more depth to the eye so it doesn't look quite so flat. It just adds a little bit of interest to the color, eye color. So now I'm going to take some of, this is burnt sienna, and I'm going to add just some shadowing to his beak or her beak. I'm sorry about the glare on the rock from my lighting. So now I'm taking just a damp paintbrush, and that's to wash off the charcoal pencil lines. It will not erase the graphite pencil lines, but it will take off the charcoal. So now I'm going to take some of my background color. This is the apple, what I say it was, apple barrel black. It's a flat black. And now I'm kind of erasing some of the pencil lines, the graphite pencil lines. And then I'm going to grab a smaller paintbrush. This is still just touching up the background. I just needed to be able to get closer to the eyes. And now we're going to just sign the rock. You always want to sign all of your artwork. And then I like to date mine so that I know when I painted it, or at least what year I painted it in. And I just now realized that I did put 19 and that should have been 20, so I'll have to go in and correct that. And that's about it. We should have the finished rock pop up here in a second. And there she is. I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to give a shout out to all of my Patreon supporters. Without them, none of this would be possible. So thank you so much. I love you guys. And that's it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit like and subscribe, and make sure to share this with your friends. And I will see you in the next video.